The second highest position in the union government is the vice president. Who is the vice president? So, in Article 63 to 71 in Part 5 of our Constitution stated that a vice president must be for a country. So, what is it? Vice president. The second highest position after the president is vice president. It was discussed in Article 63 to 71 in Part 5. Okay. So, here we are going to see qualifications, election, term and salary and allowances of vice president. Now see qualifications. What are the qualifications to elect as a vice president? So, he must be a citizen of India. He must be a citizen of India and he must have 35 years of age. He must have 35 years of age and he must qualify for election as a member of the Council of States. He must qualify for elections as a member of the Council of States. He should not hold any profit under the union, state or local government in India. What is it? He should not hold any profit under the union, state or local government of India. Once again see what are the qualifications. He must be citizen of India. He should have 35 years of age and he must qualify for elections as a member of Council of States and he should not hold any profit of office under union, state or local government. Election. Indirect election. We elect a vice president with an indirect election by proportional representation by means of single representative secret ballot vote system. How we select the president? In the same manner we elect the vice president also. What is that? Single proportional representation by means of single system vote system. Okay, and elected by the members of electoral college consisting of the members of both the houses of parliament. Who will elect? The members of both the houses of the parliament members elect the vice president. Okay, term. He continues 5 years in his post. Okay, how many years? 5 years he continues in his post and by removal or resignation in case of vacant of that post. Which post? Vice president. Understand? The deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha will act as a vice president. Okay, he will continue in his post for 5 years. If his resignation or removal or due to ill health, if he was not in the or by death, if he was not in the post, the deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha will act as a vice president. Okay, next salary and allowances. Salary and allowances. He gets 1,25,000 monthly as a salary and he gets daily allowances, free accommodation, furnished home and medical facilities, travelling facilities, all the other facilities he will get vice president. What is his 1,25,000 is his monthly salary. He gets daily allowances and free furnished house residence, medical and travel allowances he will get. Okay. Next, powers and functions of Vice President. Powers and functions of Vice President. He was ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. He acts as ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha and acting as the president. Say once again, powers and functions of Vice President, ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha and acting as a president. Okay, first we are going to see ex officio chairman. What are the functions? He deals with ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. He presides over the meetings of Rajya Sabha. He conducts the meetings of Rajya Sabha. He conducts the meetings and permits the members to express their views on different bills. Okay, he conducts the meetings and he allows the persons to express their opinions on views on different bills, and he conducts voting on bill. He conducts voting on bill, and he conducts meetings of Rajya Sabha, and the bills which are signatured by Lok Sabha, approved in the Rajya Sabha, those by his signature he sends them to Lok Sabha. Okay, see what are is, he presides over the meetings of Rajya Sabha, he conducts the meetings and permits the members to express their views on different bills, and he conducts the voting on the bills, and he announces the results, and he sends all those bills accepted by Rajya Sabha to Lok Sabha with his signature. If he signed, then only it approved as a bill. So he signs, and next second one is these are the ex officio chairman for Rajya Sabha functions, and another thing, he acts as a president. If the president post is vacant by resignation or by impeachment or by death or by the president's ill health, if the vacant is post, if the post is vacant, and then the vice president acts as a president for only 6 months. He can continue. Meanwhile, we have to conduct the elections and we have to elect a new president for that post. Okay. So what is it? Another one, acting as a president. If the post of a president is vacant due to some reasons. What are those reasons? Death of a president, or ill health, or impeachment, or resignation. In these, if the post is vacant, then vice president acts as a president, and he can continue in that post only for 6 months. Meanwhile, we have to conduct elections and we have to elect another new president. These are the functions, powers and functions of vice president: ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha and acting as the president. The next one is Prime Minister. See, already I told you that President is only nominal head and the Prime Minister is real executive officer. What is it? He is a real executive officer. The total government depends on Prime Minister. The total government, the working of the government depends on Prime Minister. So, in Constitution Article 74 of 1 describes that Council of Ministers with Prime Minister must work by the government. And Article 75 of 1 tells appointment of Prime Minister. Okay, and President cannot function without the advice of Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. So, he cannot take any decision without the consultation of Prime Minister. So, he is the real hero of the nation. So, here, see. By saying this, we can understand what is the position of Prime Minister. See, Prime Minister is head of the Union Council of Ministers. The Union Council of Ministers gives advices to Prime President and is the real head of the government. The government goes on only on the advice of Prime Minister, and he is the keystone of the Cabinet Act. So he was the head of the cabinet. He was the head of the cabinet, and he is the sun around which the planets revolves. See here, he is the sun who gives a shining. Understand? The planets revolve around the sun. Means the planets are here. It was compared with he is compared with the sun, and the Union Council of Ministers are compared as a planets revolving around the sun. There was a interlink between the president, the prime minister, and Union Council of Ministers is like that. Okay, and is moon among the stars. Is moon among the stars. The shiny. So he was a very shiny. He plays the key role in the government, and he is central for formation, working, and death of the government. Understand? Everything is only in Prime Minister's hand. The working of the central government, the formation of the central government, and the working of the central government, and everything is only in the hands of Prime Minister. So he plays a key role, very, very important role in the country. Now we are going to see about these qualifications, term, everything. Prime Minister, appointment of Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is appointed by the President. After every general election, the majority party leader invited by the President to form the government. Okay, see once again, appointment by Prime Minister is appointed by President. After every general election, the majority party leader is invited by President to form the government. Okay, next term. As long as he have the confidence by President, he will continue in his post for 5 years. For every 5 years, they conduct general elections and they elect the new person. Okay, how many years? 5 years he continues in his post as long as the Prime Minister enjoys a majority supported in the Lok Sabha. He can continue in his post. Okay. Next, salary. That is, salary is decided by the Parliament by time to time. There is no fixed salary for Prime Minister. It will change by time to time. At present, Prime Minister gets a salary and allowances 1,60,000. His salary was 1,60,000 salary and allowances he gets. Okay, once again, it is decided, the salary of a Prime Minister is decided by Parliament from time to time. At present, the Prime Minister is going to get 1,60,000 per month as salary and allowances. Now we are going to see the powers and functions of Prime Minister. Okay, the first one, leader of Union Cabinet. Leader of Union Cabinet. So I told you already, he is the head of the country. All the union ministers and prime minister collectively bear the responsibility and they form the government, and the responsibility of the government is on the shoulders of prime minister, so that understand, he allots the portfolios means departments to the union cabinet ministers, and he is the head of the union cabinet ministers, and he allots the departments portfolios and he reshuffles the portfolios, and he appoints the ministers, union cabinet ministers collectively. Prime minister and union cabinet ministers work together and they success the government. The second one is leader of majority party. After elections of every general elections, the majority party leader elects as the prime minister. Majority party leader of lower house means Lok Sabha. Majority party leader of Lok Sabha elects as a prime minister. Okay, he conducts meetings and takes steps for success of government. He conducts meetings and he takes steps for the success of government. Next up, he is leader of parliament. He is leader of parliament. I told you the majority party leader, understand, appoints as a prime minister. So here he is the leader of the parliament and he takes the decisions in the parliament for success of the government, and he extends cooperation to the presiding officers in both the houses for a smooth running of the government. Okay, he extends his cooperation, okay, in both the houses for smooth running of government, and he is a link between the president and council of ministers. See, in the beginning already we discussed that the prime president cannot take any decision. He will work by the advice of prime minister, so that whatever the decision is going to take by prime minister will take to the president. His opinions, the Union Council of Ministers' opinions, prime minister takes to president, and the decision of the president he carries to Union Council of Ministers. So he is a link between, he acts as a bridge between the Union Council of Ministers and president. So he is a link between the president and Union Council of Ministers. So everything, whatever the decision is going to take in union cabinet ministers, that is carries to president, and the decision or the advices which are given by the president is carries to Union Council of Ministers, and all they work together for the success of the government. Next, he is chief spokesman of the central government. He is the chief spokesman of central government. He informs all important decisions of cabinet. Understand? What are the decisions taken by the cabinet? What are the decisions taken by the cabinet? Informs here. Understand? And he announces major policies, major decisions in the international affairs. He takes major decisions. He announces major policies in international affairs. Next, he is a leader of nation. What is it? He is leader of nation. So, I told you, he is the hero of the nation. The country development totally depends on the decisions which are taken by the prime minister. So, he is the leader of a nation. Next, he determines the foreign policy. he maintains the relations with other countries. He maintains the relations with other countries. He is the main responsible person for the country's prestige and participation in with other countries' relations. He is the main person who maintains the prestige and participation in international relations, and he is the chairman of Niti Aayog. He is the chairman of Niti Aayog. And NITI, National Institution for Transforming India. National Institution for Transforming India was started in January 1st, 2015. January 1st, 2015. It was replaced by the 5 years plan, which was started by Jawaharlal Nehru. So it is for the development of the country, commerce and economic policies. They take the decisions of economic policies of a country. So he is the chief chairman of the Niti Aayog. These are the powers and functions of Prime Minister. Once again, see, he is the leader of Union Cabinet. So he is the main person of the Union Cabinet, Union Council of Ministers. He is the leader of majority party. The majority party leader elects as a Prime Minister. President invites him to form the government. So leader of parliament. He is the leader of the parliament. Okay, he takes the right decisions which are needed for our country. He is a link between the president and council of ministers. The decisions which are taken in the council of ministers, he carries them to president, and the decision which is if any advice is given by the president, he changes, he discusses with the union cabinet ministers, and he changes. Okay, so he is a link. He acts as a bridge between the Union Council of Ministers and the President, and he is a chief spokesman of the central government. If any foreign policy decisions, important decisions he takes, understand, which are necessary for the development of the country. He is the leader of the nation. He is the leader of the nation. And he determines the foreign policy. He acts the main person to maintain the relationship between the other international other countries, and in international affairs he acts as the main person, and he is the chief chairman of Niti Aayog. Okay, so which was placed in the place of 5 years plan, National Institution for Transforming India. Okay, so he is the main chief chairman of Niti Aayog. Now the first Prime Minister of our country is Jawaharlal Nehru. At present, the president is Narendra Modi. In this chapter, we will detailedly discuss about the president, head of the country, nominal head of the nation, vice president. He acts at the place of president when the president is absent, and prime minister, who is the real executive head of the country. So detailedly we studied the qualifications, salaries, allowances, powers and functions. Once again, the powers and functions of the president are 2 types: ordinary powers and emergency powers. See, in ordinary powers, legislative powers, executive powers, judiciary powers, military powers, financial powers and diplomatic powers. Okay, once again, see the powers and ordinary functions. Ordinary powers of president are, what are they? See, legislative powers, executive powers, financial powers, military powers, judicial powers and diplomatic powers. Okay, and emergency powers are of three types: national emergency, constitutional emergency and financial emergency. What are the emergency powers? Constitutional emergency, national emergency and financial emergency. And the powers and functions of Vice President are ex officio Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Vice President acts as a ex officio Chairman of Rajya Sabha, and in the absence of the President, he acts as a President. He acts as a President only up to 6 months. Okay, and the powers and functions of Prime Minister. The powers and functions of Prime Minister. Okay, just we saw the powers and functions of Prime Minister.